The camera slowly fades in, revealing the vast skyline of a bustling African city. The narrator's voice begins with an air of suspense, a tone that immediately pulls the viewer in. What you are about to see is not science fiction, not a clever concept drawing hidden in some corporate office, but a reality, an astonishing breakthrough that could very well change the way the entire world thinks about driving, energy, and the future of mobility. Welcome to Africa's self-powered EV factory, a place so groundbreaking that global auto giants are holding emergency meetings, politicians are scrambling for answers, and everyday people are asking one simple question: how is this even possible? The story begins with a rumor. For years, whispers circulated that somewhere in Africa, a group of determined innovators were working on a project that defied conventional engineering. While major automakers poured billions into batteries, charging infrastructure, and endless upgrades of electric cars, these engineers were thinking differently. What if a car could generate its own power? What if, instead of relying on fragile grids or costly charging stations, the car itself became its own source of energy? Most dismissed the idea as fantasy. The math didn't add up, the technology seemed unachievable, and critics scoffed at the thought. But now, in 2025, the factory doors have opened, and the world is finally seeing what has been hidden inside. As the narrator continues, the scene shifts inside the factory.
Bright, futuristic machinum in perfect synchronie.
Robotic arms glide gracefully, piecing together vehicles with remarkable precision. Rows of sleek, shiny electric vehicles stand ready, their designs unlike anything on the market. These are not just cars, they are symbols of a new era. Their secret lies in an integrated system, a self-powering mechanism that combines advanced regenerative technology with new forms of clean energy capture. The result is a car that doesn't just consume energy, it creates it. Journalists who were invited to the factory's grand reveal described the moment as surreal. Some of them had flown in from Europe, others from America, Asia, and beyond. They were expecting to see another electric car assembly line, perhaps slightly more efficient, perhaps just another pitch about sustainability. Instead, they found themselves face to face with something that challenges the very foundations of the global automotive industry. Cameras clicked, reporters gasped, and within minutes, headlines were exploding across social media platforms. Global shockwave, one outlet declared. Africa's EV revolution, another announced.
Tesla, Toyota, and Volkswagen ont alerte, screamed yet another.
But behind the flashy headlines is a much deeper story. This isn't just about cars, it's about power, independence, and a massive shift in global influence. For decades, the narrative has been that innovation only comes from Silicon Valley, from Tokyo, from Berlin, or from Detroit. Africa was rarely mentioned in the same breath as cutting-edge automotive technology. But this factory is rewriting that story. Here, engineers, designers, and visionaries from across the continent have built something the world said could not be built. The narrator's tone grows more intense as the camera pans across workers in the factory, each person playing their role with visible pride. You can see the determination in their eyes. These aren't just employees, they are pioneers. Many of them were trained locally, educated in African universities, mentored by engineers who refused to accept the idea that their continent could only be a consumer of technology rather than a creator. And the cars themselves? That's where the story takes its most dramatic turn. Early testers have reported driving for days without needing to stop for fuel or charging. The car draws energy from multiple sources: kinetic movement, advanced solar layers, and an energy recycling system that seems almost futuristic. It's as if the vehicle is alive, constantly replenishing itself as it moves. For drivers, this means no more waiting at charging stations, no more stressing over range, no more dependence on expensive and polluting energy grids. The narrator pauses, then leans in with a question aimed at the audience. If this is real, what happens to the global oil market? What happens to trillion-dollar car companies? What happens to governments that have built their power on controlling energy? As suspense builds, the script introduces the reactions of powerful players around the globe. In the United States, automakers are rushing their executives into boardrooms, analyzing every detail they can find about this African factory. In Europe, policymakers are concerned that their carefully laid plans for renewable energy transitions may now be outdated. In Asia, where EV adoption has been a priority, the news is being met with both admiration and anxiety. And in Africa itself, the reaction is electric. People are filled with pride, celebrating that their continent is no longer on the sidelines of innovation, but standing at the very center of the world's attention. The scene cuts to interviews with ordinary people, imagined conversations that feel authentic and relatable. A driver in Lagos talks about how the thought of owning a car that powers itself could transform his daily life. A student in Nairobi says she never believed she would see something this advanced come from her region. A small business owner in Johannesburg explains how this technology could cut transportation costs and expand opportunities. But not everyone is celebrating. Already, there are whispers of resistance. Oil lobbies, threatened by the idea of vehicles that don't need their product, are quietly preparing counter-narratives. Competing automakers are hiring consultants and engineers to figure out how to replicate or discredit the technology. And some skeptics still insist it's too good to be true, demanding more proof, more data, more demonstrations. Yet, the factory stands as undeniable proof. The world has been allowed inside, cameras have captured the process, and the vehicles are rolling out for testing. Every shot shows a future that many thought was impossible. The narrator's voice softens, taking on a reflective tone. Think about what this means, not just for Africa, but for the world. A continent often dismissed as a follower is now leading. A people often underestimated are now showing what's possible when vision and determination meet innovation. This isn't just a factory. It's a symbol that the future doesn't belong to any one region, but to humanity as a whole. The first part of the script closes with a dramatic statement. This is not just an inside look at a factory. This is a glimpse into tomorrow, a tomorrow where cars no longer need the chains of fuel or charging stations, where innovation comes from unexpected places, and where Africa sends a message to the world: the future has arrived.